Are we doing the clap? Because that does help line it up. Usually.
Yeah.
Boost our game. There we go. We should be good.
Okay.
Are we getting healthy signal? I think so. All right.
3, 2, 1.
All right. What's up? We're 4 cowboys in cowboy heaven. There we go. That's how we're starting this show.
Yeah.
And we're here with an exclusive interview with
In conversation
with Dialup Ghost. How are y'all doing?
We're doing all right.
Doing well.
It's a cold day.
It's very cold.
We're here.
We're cozy. We're not on the porch.
We're not on the porch, unfortunately.
It's very cold.
It is cold.
And we blocked the entrance to the porch.
Yeah.
I totally forgot a second about the video element, and I was just treating this like radio, where I'm like, oh yeah, you can just kind of space out, like absolutely. And it was like, oh yeah, there is a camera there.
Yeah.
We never remember the camera. When I'm editing it and I watch it back, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm just like looking all over the place, and I'll randomly remember there's a camera. It's so bad.
Yeah.
This is what the people pay for.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
Well, it sucks we're not outside because like sometimes we'll have people like yelling.
Oh yeah, that is really.
So
fun.
that's the only audio we're missing out on.
I've watched.
Yeah.
I've seen some of that.
I think somebody fucked up a parking job one time.
Yeah, that was the best part.
Yeah. And we just kind of, anyways, yeah. So we're here with Dialup Ghost, and we're just going to do a fun little interview. We're going to talk with them, and we're going to just, shoot the shit. Yeah. Figure it out and whatnot.
Exciting.
Talk about their
new release.
New release that we
I gotta do the Letterman thing.
Oh, yeah.
This is new release, May You Live Forever in Cowboy Heaven by a young up-and-coming band, Dialup Ghost. They're really exciting stuff. Check them out, y'all. And then they'd hard cut.
Weird applause in there.
I always love how Letterman always walked up to the drummer and asked, "Did you rent those drums?" I was like, he did that for I don't know. He was a huge guy for me growing up. I really. It's hard to show. I think like some people have sometimes they get so jarred by that, like Uma Oprah, and that's like one where it's like that's the funniest thing in the world, or it's like this is brain rot substance.
Yeah. Well, he was always just such a good interviewer, and I also love that he got super excited when the band was really good.
Oh yeah, no, he was a huge music fan.
Yeah,
there was so many cool acts I saw on his show back then.
Yeah, and there's the one. It's when Future Islands came on and did Seasons.
Oh
and
my
he just
God.
basically sprints over afterwards, like, "Wow, what a show, guys!"
I always thought it was kind of goofy, and then I saw his response on it one day where he was like, I had an idea and I was going for it. And I'm like, that's beautiful. That's so awesome that he was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I hear it. Yeah.
That's like we were excited. I was excited at least when Jimmy Kimmel just did Knocked Loose.
That was
everyone mad.
Yeah.
Brought out Poppy.
Yeah.
And
I didn't make you mad.
No, it was great.
I had a good time.
I was like, that pit looks fun.
They should have thrown Jimmy Kimmel in the pit and just seen what he could do. Like seeing his elbows and whatnot.
Yeah.
A pit in Burbank, it would flatten him. It'd be over.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have got some questions prepared.
We got a lot of messy questions. So let's see. Let's start with the kind of basic stuff. So, how do y'all become a band?
We worked together, and specifically, my desktop background was the album cover Halcyon Digest by Deer Hunter, and Jordan was walking by and was like, "Whoa, Deer Hunter!" And then we became friends.
We also, I think, had some overlap that year, too, because I think I also went to Dinosaur Jr.
Yes.
In 2016, 2017.
So that's when we first talked, was Jordan noticing my desktop background. And then probably a couple weeks or a month later, we both separately went to Dinosaur Jr. At Cannery Ballroom.
Star-Crossed.
That's what it's called, Cannery Ballroom?
Yeah, it was R.I.P.
Yeah, it's called.
The then called Cannery Ballroom.
So the next day, Jordan was wearing a Dinosaur Jr. shirt. I was like, "Oh, did you go to that?" And then we started talking even more about music. That would have been 2017. And we decided, we're like, let's, you want to get together and play music? And we first practiced in July 2017. So that's like when we officially started.
That's how it happens. Yeah. That's kind of how we ended up hanging out. Because it was like we had our... one single?
I think something like that.
Yeah. And we were just like, hey, you want to jam? And then I don't know what band we were both into.
I don't know.
I feel like that's
how
it
was
happened.
It was
Unwound.
Yeah.
That's a great like Lodestar band. Having this happen. Yeah.
But I feel like that's how it happens.
Yeah.
You know?
And that leads us into another question, which we wanted to ask, how did y'all get started playing music, and what albums and bands and records really just do you want to like talk about being like those load bearing bands for y'all?
Got Neil Young over there.
Yeah, no, it's hard to deny that because that it is like he was a big one for us. I remember listening to him a lot when I was younger. I think probably like getting back into this band. I think hanging out with you got me a lot more than Neil Young.
Yeah, I mean, my parents are big Neil Young fans. And I mean, this question you just asked is an endless.
It's a hefty
answer.
It can go.
The question you can't ask.
I'll try to be succinct that my parents raised me on Neil Young, Paul Simon, Creedence Clearwater Revival, and the Beatles.
Yeah.
And then from there, some stuff like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd from my dad. But like, man. Like I said, I could talk about this forever.
Hey, just let it ride. We'll figure it out in post.
I was just telling Jordan on the way here that some of the biggest influential things, other than my parents' taste, were the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4 soundtrack. Because I lived in rural Indiana and didn't have internet, but I had a GameCube, and I borrowed that from a friend. Yeah, GameCube over there.
Yeah.
And I hadn't heard any of that music, and it was just definitely. Did you want me to hold that?
I mean, you might get some.
It was definitely
That's so funny.
world changing to hear all of
Skate
that.
3 got me into Dinosaur Juniors.
Oh hell yeah!
That's what it's all about.
I still play it. It's so good. It's one of the best skateboarding games ever made. Yeah.
Yeah, that and I don't know. I always get excited. I love Joy Division, so I always get
Oh,
excited.
Jordan. I'm more of a New Order guy.
That's
but,
what
See, that we always have this debate.
I'm more of a New Order guy.
Yeah.
I like Bernard
Jordan's-
Summer's voice a lot.
Jordan and I both have limited edition New Order Doc Martens.
Oh, that's
What?
I almost wore mine.
What does that entail? What
I
is that?
don't have those. You're thinking of Carson, who has those because I couldn't get mine.
I thought you got the Technique ones.
No, I did. I really did want the Technique ones, and the seller on Depop bailed on me, and I did not get them.
That's
Well,
Yeah. So,
I have some New Order.
so they're gone
Doc
forever. I'm
Martens.
never getting those.
No, I have the Power Corruption Lies, which is a much
That's
more
my favorite.
beautiful boot than the Technique ones.
Is it just like the album cover on the Doc Marten?
Yeah, it's just
That's
basically
sick.
looks like floral print Doc
That's how it
Martens.
It's why the Technique ones looked so good because they were like that really great, like almost like mauve pink, like
Yeah.
glow. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I've got a Technique T-shirt. Somewhere.
Yeah, I
Excellent.
don't know. They're wonderful. Peter Hook and the Light is coming here next May.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Sorry, I just timestamped this recording. I just got to. We're talking about it, like, yeah, I want to go see him do it. He's doing all of Get Ready, I think.
That's so cool.
It is really interesting. Yeah, it was like the last one I think he was a part of before he jumped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's sick.
No, is that all with your musical history? Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, no, I mean, I said I could talk forever. I mean, so middle school, like age 14 was Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack. So when you were 14, what was...
When I was 14. When I was 14, I think, like, my dad just bought, like, a Fender Stratocaster, and it was, like, the coolest thing I saw. And I was like, I really didn't learn how to play this. And that was, like, the first one I think I got into, like, a lot of, like, oh, I want to learn how to play guitar. It was a big, like, my dad was a really big, like, blues classic rock house. And then I think the thing that was, like, the outlier element there was, like, southwestern rock. Like, my dad was a big, like, Poco guy. And, like, I've never really met a lot of people who are, like, into Poco, but I know, like, some of their songs because of that. So it was just, like, a lot of, like going through his CDs, ripping them for, like, to burn for mixtapes and stuff like that. And then as I started to play guitar, my guitar teacher, like, 14, 15, 16, he was, like, a local cover band guy in the panhandle of Florida. So, like, he was there in, like, the 70s and 80s. He was in, like, some, like, guitar ace band called Avalon. His name was Blaine. He's a really cool guy. But, like, yeah, he was really into, like, jazz fusion and, like, 80s, 90s blues. Like, Jeff Healey, he was that blind guitar player. And that was a really big one for him. Like, so, yeah, it was, like, really fun, I think, to have that and learning, like, Sultans of Swing and, like, Kid Charlemagne, and, like, back then. Like, it was fun to have those elements. I think the one that I'm kind of, like, oh man, it's like, do y'all ever have stuff where you look back and it's like, I am kind of embarrassed of this, but now like I have to embrace this in order to be whole. Like if I don't,
what I listened to in middle school, probably. Yeah.
I
I got into rock music because of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So that's
well, I'm not embarrassed about that.
I'm a little. I mean, they still go, but like.
No, like because they do, and that's I think getting older. Except I'm like, no, sometimes you just fucking rule, and you can also be a creep, and that's fine. Like,
yeah. See, I think that's the thing. I think I'm like. I've hit it where like, oh, that's weird that I listened to it. I think I need 5 more years to go. Now it's cool.
That's
no, yeah.
I need to hit the backswing.
I was listening to like Kanye in middle school. That's cooler than that.
No, especially like Kanye at that time. Like, what a great Kanye.
Yeah.
No, I think the one that really got me on this because I was thinking about this today, where I'm like, I got to think about like the John Mayer Trio record, Try, live. They cut it then. That was the one that probably got me to practice more than I think anything else in the world. Like I think
was Pino Palladino on that?
Yes, he was. Pino Palladino, Steve Jordan. They did in LA and then they cut it. And like I think it was a one night recording. It was wonderful. Some of the best, I think, like modern chops I've heard on that. But also it's like there's a lot of baggage with that. There's a lot of baggage in being like a Stratocaster player and like bending strings and being in this realm, I feel like a little bit.
Yeah.
What realm?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
The indie, the modern indie rock scene.
No, we are better because you do the boomer bends.
I have a climb. I have a climb on the board. That's really like it.
Speaking of the bends, that's the best radio. That's the best Radiohead album.
What the hell? What
that's
the fuck?
Terrible.
Yeah. That's crazy take.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, computer. Okay, computer might be the best, but
go.
I like the bends the best. Maybe.
I think that's fair.
I used to say OK Computer. I still think it might be their most fun. I used to love that band, and they broke my heart. I think in the last couple of years.
Yeah, they kind of
Jordan was dating Tom York.
I was dating Tom York, and he was like, "Oh, Johnny, his wife has problems with you," and I'm like, look, okay, I'll leave. No, they're great. I really, really enjoy Radiohead. Huge influence, I'd probably say as well. Radiohead, Elliott Smith. I was trying to play a lot of his shit back then. Steely Dan. I am a huge Steely Dan fan, and I know that's it hurts. It really hurts.
I like Steely Dan, okay, but they're.
You love Steely Dan.
I love Steely Dan. I'm constantly trying to balance the like Steve Albini love with the Steely Dan love in my brain.
Oh my god, no! Like
You can love both.
Yeah, no, because I loved him, and I know he fucking hated Galaxy 500.
They had a really funny Twitter spat one time.
Oh yeah,
it was great.
The amount that he like, and some of his points are very true. I think on like running a guitarist through like hundreds of solos just to exhaust and be like, this doesn't sound Egyptian enough. Like, that was I think the famous quote there from him on that, but. I don't know. It's great. I love it. It feels so good. Yeah.
That would be our dynamic, is that I'm more of a Steve Albini and Jordan's more of a Steely Dan.
More of a Donald Fagen type.
Yeah.
That was kind of the vibe I picked up on this. So that's exactly what I thought.
Well, I'm also interested in your. I wrote something. I don't know. I can't read your handwriting.
Oh yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. I will be asking the questions.
But something about like. Because you're like obviously there's a lot of country influence in what you do, and you haven't really talked about much country music. But how does Nashville kind of play into your sound?
That is a good question. How? Because our friend and bandmate Sean Connerton, on the album cover, he's the top left.
This is such a handy reference to have there.
Yeah. Yes.
Put him up on screen.
Please show the picture over the top of us.
Do we want to plug his band?
Well, I'm talking. What have I even said yet? I'm gonna say things.
No, but he goes by an alias.
No, that's his band. Sean's band is Father Sunn, our favorite local band.
Really great.
He's incredible. The band is incredible. So how does Nashville, maybe affect us being a country band? There's this sense where I think it kind of comes a little bit naturally to me, but I have wanted to fight it. But Sean was like, dude, that's tradition, baby. Like, just do it. Just be it. And I think that is one reason why this new album was the most country yet, because I perhaps leaned into it and didn't fight it as much.
Yeah.
As far as country music as an influence, though, like outside of Nashville, whenever I was a teenager, I got really into alt country, like early Wilco, all of Wilco, but
My dad's gonna be so happy.
Yeah, early Wilco.
Nationwide will be happy.
Yeah.
Drive-by Truckers is probably the biggest for me. But also I was listening to Old 97s and Whiskey Town, and things of that nature. And also like tons of like Bob Dylan and Neil Young are like my two heroes. Mm-hmm. And they both, they're perhaps more influential to us because they don't just stay as like country music. They do folk and country and rock, and that's, we do all of that as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, I would even say we're a rock band that plays
I think
country music.
Yeah, because I think the other element here, I think with a lot of that is that aesthetic is really like nice. You were listening to some of the stuff that you were into, and I didn't lean as country as much. I have some hang-ups about country, I think, from just hearing it all my life and kind of just like it being like, what's that old Sun Kill Moon quote about like the war on drugs is the music that like bullies like shoved nerds into lockers too? It's like some song he wrote.
Do you know about Mark Kozelek, Sun Kill Moon?
I know a little bit about Red House Painters.
Okay,
but I don't.
Great, yeah. No, songs with guitar was wonderful.
Yeah. You know the war on drugs.
Yeah, whatever that guy's name.
They have.
X War on Drugs.
X War on Drugs.
Yeah, Kurt Vile was in War on Drugs, but yeah, Mark Kozelek had an incredible feud with War on Drugs, and he's like one of the only 50-year-old men who makes folk music that released a diss track for another band, and he has a song called "The War on Drugs Can Suck My Cock." And
bars.
I mean, I don't ever listen to The War on Drugs. I'll just say that much. They're fine. I don't hate them, but I'm a big Sun Kill Moon.
This man's never been lost in the dream. It's fine.
Yeah.
What do you see yourself as, like, genre-wise as a band? Or do you even see yourself putting a label on it? Because I know I personally come from, like, I make a lot of electronic music, and there's a hyper-pop label that often gets put on a lot of those artists, and a lot of those artists, like, are like, that's
PC
not
music?
Yeah, that's not what I make. I'm like, I'm my own thing. Well, is that how you feel kind of labels should define it?
Are y'all a hyper-pop band?
I won't rule it out for the future. I definitely think that we think of ourselves as a rock band or even a punk rock band. Mm-hmm. But basically a rock band that plays punk music, country music, psychedelic rock, and indie pop, like kind of, I mean, it's a big compliment to us. We get called eclectic a lot. And I like that. I'm like, hell yeah, cool. Thank you for thinking that. So I would say we like to be eclectic, but we still stay like everything is basically still a rock song at the end of the day for us.
I totally agree. I think, especially listening to some of your older stuff, it's like y'all make just straight up punk songs sometimes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I don't know if we'll ever do that again. It takes a lot out of you, and now we're getting old.
I still got it. I still think.
She doesn't have to sing.
I don't. I truly don't. I tell you.
That's actually.
I've never done a group vocal on. I think I'm on one track on the first record where it's just gang vocals. But besides that, I don't think I've done any other vocals for Dialup Ghost.
I will say, you sang a lot of "I'm Fine, I'm Fine," the song, not the album, and me and Jack muted it because you're too flat.
Yeah, no, because I don't sing.
Yeah, you've sang before. It's nice, but that particular recording, we were just like, we got. If Jordan hears this, like, you won't like it either.
I'll walk into traffic. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I would say we are, a rock band, and
I would agree with that.
I mean, I've called us a punk band a lot because I think that's where our ethos are, and our politics, and I think. Part of being a punk band is saying like there's no rules, so therefore that allows us to have a country song or a droney folk song or anything like that.
Yeah, because I think calling ourselves like a rock band in that regard and that always kind of being like the core thing. Because I know like what we do in the studio and what we do live, I feel like is so different, I think, at this point, because it's just the adrenaline gets going and things like that, and everything always becomes like noisier and louder and quicker, I think, live. I think we've maybe over time turned a lot of the material we do into a more like hard-edged like piece, I think. Because on those albums, it is really crazy how like I think like we'll sit with stuff and how it's kind of a genre, and by the time we're done with it, it's like, oh yeah, this is that.
Yeah, I mean, the album and the live experience is definitely two different sides of Dial-Up Ghost. We love making albums. That's our favorite thing to do, and it's like an art project, and we have those particular visions and how we want it to sound, what we want it to be like. Then when we play a show, like we'll oftentimes play all of our songs faster, and just, I mean, live we're just supposed to be a rock band for sure. And you know, we actually, with our new album, we recorded it all as a 6-piece, and then had 2 of our friends do additional overdubs. So basically, almost an 8-piece. Then 2 other people did overdubs, but those are just like on one song, one particular instrument. And we've only had a couple shows since we recorded the album. Or I've about 4 shows. But it's hard to get all 6 of us to play live together. So therefore, it's like, well, we can't have the fiddle, and we can't have all of the backing vocals. So we kind of got to play a raw rock show. Because if we try to do some of the more intricate stuff, I mean, it could be fine.
It would be very different. I never really thought about that until I guess like working through this question of like the genre does shift if you have all of 6 people there. Because we're doing you're playing acoustic, we have multiple people on leads, Jay's playing trumpet, like it becomes a whole other thing as opposed to like, oh, I got a cop for like an entire fiddle part and also other things here. Yeah. And all I have is like my pedal board and what I'm doing. So
like our band favorite song from the new album is Tailspin. I don't know if that's Jordan's favorite.
It is not my favorite to like to play or to like listen to if I'm showing people like, hey, this is what we did.
To the recording on the album.
A recording on the album.
Like what song on the album, not to play live.
I don't know. I don't have an answer on that.
Well, that's okay. I know that Jack is our drummer. Our favorite song is Tailspin. And we have played it live 1 or 2 times, but as a 4-piece and not as there's 7-piece on that song. All the moving parts. So it's very stripped back. You know, we don't have all the full gang vocals that song has. We don't have the fiddle. I'm just like, it's still fine, but I don't want to play this song anymore if we can't have everybody.
Yeah, it's tough, and I think like Jade's done a pretty good job at like picking up all the other like parts that like Katie and Sean threw in.
Yeah.
So it is just like, I don't know. You just provide stuff live. It's I guess even that sense too, because I was thinking about this the other day, because like I don't really remember solos as much as like I think I go into like every show and know there's like points I have to be at a certain point. So I know they're different every show.
Yeah.
So because of that, we have some like jam band elements to a regard, dare I say. I know you're shaking your head, but if some people who are in rock bands, I mean, I guess it depends on the attitude of that. They'd be like, no, play the piece the same way every time you as a song you wrote, or the other side would be like, hey, I guess fuck off, play it however you want it. But I don't know. It's fun. It's fun to go in and like look at stuff you wrote 4 years ago still, and then kind of throw in what you're thinking about lately into it. Of like, oh, I never thought I could do that in this piece.
I will say, the studio recording of our song Gun Thing, Jordan's guitar part it's like one of my absolute favorite moments from any of our music, and she's never done it the same way live.
No, because it's very tough.
But she like did it. I mean, it was like improvisational, like on the spot. Like, you need to play a ripping guitar part right now. We're recording this, and it's awesome.
Well, also too, it's like, do y'all get into gear talk on here? I love talking about music here.
Sure, go for it.
My wheelhouse.
Okay,
yeah, this is all.
No, beautiful. So, like, one of the people that we work with for a lot of our guitar recordings is
I think that was one of my questions.
No, it's not gonna be a while. It just
was some gear talk.
No, totally.
Because that gear talk segment. Yeah.
No, because like that sound you kind of bring up there, it is like gear talk. Like no, a lot of that song that you heard on that third record, we were working with a local engineer producer, Alex Martin. He's a really great just musician in general. Has a wonderful set of ears. He has a home studio. And he has a really great amp collection of stuff that he's just modded and stuff that he's acquired over the years and repaired and stuff like that. And a lot of those sounds were coming out of an old like Fender Champ. And it was so awesome to hear, like an old Silverface Champ. And so just, it was a Gibson SG I picked up with like the last Biden like stimulus check that came out. It was so great. Like
Thank you, Joe Biden.
Yes, it was thank you, Sleepy Joe. It was the only thing you gave us.
Friend of the podcast.
Was a 94 Gibson SG.
This episode's sponsored by Joe Biden. Thank you, Joe Biden.
Thank you, Joe. You've earned your place. You've earned your keep in history. Thank you. 1,000 years of Joe Biden.
We live in the Joe Biden Imperium now.
Yeah, the true last American president.
I want
awesome, Philip Roth.
I want it on the record that I hate Joe Biden.
Since we're doing this, I would also like it on the record that I hate Joe Biden.
I don't think many people like Joe Biden.
I think.
No.
Yeah.
I think that came out today. He's like like one of the most like disfavored presidents in modern history.
Okay. Patterson Hood of Drive By Truckers, one of my big influences and heroes. Probably, I think it was last year on Twitter. He was like, I don't know why everyone's complaining about Biden. He's like the best president of my lifetime. And I was like, dude, you've written three things he's done. You've written some of the best political songs I've ever heard. How it's just, old. He's an old guy, it just happens.
The thing is too, it is like, he sucks. He's responsible for a lot. We were going to talk about gear, and this got real very quick. Of like, no, he's a warmonger. He's responsible for genocide. He fucking sucks right now.
Yeah.
I, as a transgender person, was not able to do an on-demand self-determined passport identification until his administration. So that was a big deal. I do think about that. No, he didn't do jack shit for us besides that. It was a bunch of empty platitudes saying, I have your back, but nowhere, in a legislative sense. But he did do that. And
he pardoned his son.
And he pardoned his cool, his crazy white boy son. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, you know what? I would vote for Hunter Biden right now.
White boy of all time.
Yeah.
White boy of the year.
Yeah, I've seen his cock.
He's got a sweet piece. Yeah,
he's got a sweet set on him.
He does crack. He carries guns. He bangs hookers.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's my president.
That's
Honestly, Trump probably does all of that too.
No, he's a teetotaler. He doesn't do anything besides Sudafed and fucking like Adderall.
Yeah, it's basically crack.
No, but that's the thing. He doesn't like. He went on Theo Vaughn's podcast being what's smack? What does that do for you? And it was like, I guess it does this. Go That is, I've never listened to Theo Vaughn.
I completely believe him that he's sober though.
Yeah, that's his brother died in some DUI related accident, and because of that, he's like, I'm never drinking, and then just abused everything else. Huh. But I think he's like most tyrants. He's an Uppers fan. Like I get that.
Yeah.
So gear-wise, fucking 10-inch Fender Champ, blown the fuck out. Fender SG 94. It was the centennial year for Gibson. They built it in town. You got some Fralin PAFs on there, and then you get the guitar sound from Gun Thing.
Well, and on our third album, all of my rhythm guitar is I'm playing my Fender Jaguar, 1995, made in Japan.
Real special.
It's my dream guitar, cool. And I got it. It's cool. I stopped playing it live. But I'll get into that. But on that album, on our first three albums, I'm like almost exclusively playing that guitar. And but for the third album, Alex built this amp out of an old intercom from like a school.
Oh yeah, the Boner PA head.
So it was some crazy thing he built, and it gave this nasty sound. And that whole album, I was like, it has to sound.
Yeah, that rough. Was nuts. He took an old 70s Vibrolux, and then I said Boner a second ago, and it's the Bogner PA that I think they use for that mod.
I thought
it's the Boner amp. No.
I thought you were joking around.
No, why would I joke about gear? It's very serious.
You never joke about the Boner amp.
No, you can't joke about the Boner PA. No, it was a Bogner PA head. That shit sounded awesome. He ran that through like an amp that he wired with it. It was sick.
Was this for Acid Man or
no?
That
was Sunshine Get Hotter.
Yeah, Sunshine Gets Hotter. That album. That's our least liked album. Our least.
It's our least listened to.
Our least listened to. The Spotify stats that I see imply that almost everything on Cowboy Heaven has been listened to more than that album, which has been out for 2 years.
That's crazy. The guitar tone on Marsha Blackburn is so gnarly.
Thank you.
It's so loud.
I feel like that's one of your defining songs too.
Yeah,
I love that one.
That one into I Will Live Presently is such a cool run. It's awesome.
Well, man, I forgot about that.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, no, that was a little B-side treat.
That album was. I mean, I wanted it to be challenging. I guess the album before that, Empty Houses, was maybe a little bit more like Cowboy Heaven of sorts. You know, we were. It's not really a rough album, very very much, and it was, I think, the first time we were like, let's lean a little bit more into country music. But I was very angry and was like, I need to make an angry, noisy album. And I mean, we both like noise rock a lot. And the opening song on that album, Forehead 2, I was like, I want to make a song like Daughters. I love Daughters.
Who would have thought the guy like swinging his mic, screaming, "I am a bad man"?
No,
like,
it was actually a bad guy.
After he got canceled, our Jack, he was like, I could have told you he was evil before all of this came out. I was like, I didn't know, I was just into the cool music. Anyway, the idea of that album was like making noise rock and country music and smashing it together. So, I mean, I love album sequencing. Like, that's an art in itself. And I think most people do not listen to that album because I intentionally started off as abrasive as possible, which is why it ends like on I Will Live Presently. It's supposed to like get kind of happier as it goes. The title track, Sunshine Gets Hotter, that's one of my favorite songs I've written, or that we've recorded especially. I think it's
really pretty. I really like that.
It's very nice.
Alex Martin, the same guy I was talking about earlier, also was able to play. He has a pedal steel. And
he's our pedal steel player. He plays pedal steel on 2 songs on Sunshine Gets Hotter. We recorded that whole album with him at his place and used his modified amps, and he plays pedal steel. And then we mixed Cowboy Heaven at his place, and he did some overdubs.
Also, just a really, really great guy. Really, really like crack ace disc golfer.
I've never played disc golf with him, despite
we need to fix that.
Writing music about disc golf.
Yeah, where are some good places to go play disc golf?
Oh, man.
Seven Oaks. It's in the lyrics. Go there if you haven't.
Oh, sorry, though. This is such a wonderful area for disc golf. I will throw out there, besides Seven Oaks, you got White House, which is a little bit north of here. I always think it's like a really crazy, like Jurassic Park kind of forest. It looks really cool.
That's cool.
There's another place around here called Baby Cane. I think I don't know the full name of the park, but the great thing about that one is just it's the closest a disc golf course around here feels like putt-putt. Everything is like a par 2 or a par 3, so it's really fun. It's just like a little fun hike in the woods.
I have a disc golf set.
You have a disc golf? You have fucking everything, man.
I keep a bag in my car. I play with my friends. Yeah, I play a fair amount.
That's cool.
I love it.
Wait, so who's the best disc golfer in the band?
Jack.
Jack. Okay.
Yeah, the drummer.
Like a few years ago, he got a hole-in-one on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
Christmas miracle.
I didn't witness it. I wish I did.
His wife did, so they both could be lying, but I don't think he is.
They're in cahoots.
I mean, that's the whole reason you get married, so you can like lie and
lie
about have that hold up in court. Yeah. You sue your buddy over a disc golf score.
What do you got going on?
I like this one. I think it's kind of related, but it's going to be a bit janky segue. But it's kind of related to what we've been talking about. But how do y'all maintain that kind of DIY punk ethos that it's really important to y'all's music in the midst of like the Nashville music scene, and how kind of, because Nashville's so uniquely commercial, it's its whole brand.
Yeah.
And punk is always kind of countercultural, but it's especially counter to like the city we have here. So,
but also, like with that, sorry, I think about this all the time. It's one of my favorite things. Like, because even with that now, like punk, in the way it's kind of becoming a much more, I think, like I guess when I say this, I'm thinking more about like hardcore. I guess in this regard, it seems like there has been a little bit of like a harder music like bump over the last 2 years. Yeah, in that regard, and I feel like those are now getting recorded with the same like energy that you saw in the 70s and 80s for like jazz fusion, and then like everything else going into like the pop records. Then where it's just like they're working out like the cure for cancer, really. So like I hear those albums, and you're hearing these like oh man, like my wife is like super into like metal and all the subgenres there and that, and I'll hear these bands where it's just like, that sounds like 60 kick drums on top of each other. Yeah. And it probably is, because they just had all this time in the world to do it. So, like, I think one of the things, like, with us is, like, at least for me, like, I come from a real big, like, experimental and, like, noise background. And I think when I was first starting, like, make, like, original music, I was playing drums for a songwriter out of Gainesville, Florida. There we were busking. I was doing, like, improv sets at, like, this almost like 24/7 coffee house there. They ran like a cabaret show sometimes. It was really, really neat. But like the ethos there, and like all the coolest people in the world were the ones who were like making their own shit themselves and recording it that way. And it just, I don't know. It's very easy to become susceptible to that in this city. But I think with like the influences we have, and I think also too, just like the economic factors as well. Like I don't know, I've worked to build a rig, but I don't like it just like a piece there in that regard. I'm not going to get the tone that I want every time. It's tough. It is tough to kind of run that balance, especially here, because you see everybody else have all those like wonderful sounds, and it's like, well, if I go that route, I'm going to sound like everybody else, but I want that a little bit. I want that polish. I don't know. It's a complicated one. I bought a Klon this year. Clearly I'm joining a bandwagon of some kind. It sounds like fucking butter. Oh my God. But like,
I was gonna say I think it's because people don't like us. You know, people, yeah. So we gotta do it ourselves, you know. Because
no, that's the other part there is fun. But I mean, like, I don't know. We've always made it a point to kind of like record like the people that we like. Like, you bought that Tascam for the first like EP because of the people who liked who used it.
Our first release was recorded on a Tascam 424 4-track cassette recorder, which I still have.
That's so cool.
I bought it. It's from like the mid-ish 90s. I bought it on Reverb. It was brand new in the box still. It was like I bought it for like $300 or $400, and I could sell it for even more than that now. I still have the box.
They're very in vogue.
We recorded our first EP on that, and I recorded a handful of other demos and stuff on it. But I don't know. We liked the EP so much. But we wanted something more, and we knew, we had friends that were engineers who worked at studios. We're like, let's go to the studio. So after we recorded our first album, we recorded that with our friend Jeff Muchnick at Schematic Studios. It's in Goodlettsville.
It was in Goodlettsville.
What do you mean?
Schematic is dead, friend.
No, it's not.
You can never go home again.
What do you mean it's dead?
It's gone.
Jeff doesn't work there.
It's gone.
The tornado knock it down?
No, they just got that shit out of the back. Like the studio is no longer existing.
Well, I don't care. I want to work with Jeff, and Jeff stopped working there a long time ago.
Do you know what happened to him? You know he ended up working for Dave Chappelle?
I know that he doesn't live in Nashville.
No, he moved to Texas to do Dave Chappelle's podcast editing.
Well, that's fine.
Last I heard from him, I saw him at the Blue Room.
Look, that was our whole thing. Is
let's stay on topic.
If we make it big on podcasts, that's our goal, is to do Dave Chappelle's
podcast. Yeah. I want to work with that.
Every week I pray that we make a short list to get on Rogan. Like, oh my God.
I would absolutely go.
You would go on Rogan? Yeah. No, because it is like, I think we could. I think all of us, because he just wants to be liked, and I think if you're nice to him, he'll agree with you on anything.
Yeah. I think I could get him to like eat some funny things. Like if I bought like stuff in my pockets, I was like, hey, this this lint's really good.
Yeah.
I think I could get him to eat it.
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
And I think that would be good radio.
Hey Jamie, why don't you Google that lint? Let's check this out.
No, he's just like that lovable football player in your high school team.
Yeah, sure.
Just like he's kind of a meathead, but like
Mm-hmm.
he'll hang out. He's chill.
Yeah. I would go on road. But to answer your question about, can you re-ask it?
Yeah, let me see if I can. How do y'all maintain your DIY/punk ethos in the
Nashville music scene.
in the Nashville music scene, which is so profit oriented? Which is so profit oriented.
Yes. So basically,
We gotta type this
I
out.
think there's a certain stubbornness that I have where I write these songs and I don't want to change them to be popular. And then again, like what Jordan was saying, that we have so many influences that are, like Sonic Youth is a big influence. First of all, they got hugely popular by it.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
Zoom in.
Zoom in.
Cameraman.
Shoot it in 4K, pinch and zoom, you'll be fine.
Sonic Youth got huge by always being themselves. You know, they were really avant-garde a lot of the time, especially at the beginning of their career. So there's also this sense like, I don't know. I would love to only do music, career-wise, but it's more of an art project for us, and I'm not gonna, it's
Not gonna sell out.
well, no, I would love to be on a nice record label. It would be cool, if they gave us money to make a record.
But you want to do you at the end.
Yeah. And I think there's great record labels that would let us do that but I don't know, we don't have the right connections or exposure or something.
It is very odd in that sense, because I do think, I guess, if we got on the right record label, they'd probably ask us to do some things that might be a little bit more, I guess, like friendly, I think, in that regard. No? You don't think there'd be any editing or notes, like how so many other bands we like have said there's been editing and notes before?
What are you saying?
But like, if you got on a major label and you started recording stuff.
We're not going to get on a major label.
No, but I guess, like, in my head, it's permanently 96, I guess. Like,
the Wrens were offered $1 million.
oh, yeah.
They turned it down. You know the Wrens?
Mm-mm.
You don't know the Wrens? Oh, my God.
Next episode.
That's Russ. That might be your favorite line, is you don't know. Insert variable, upturn, exclamation point, like upside down.
You don't know Butch Willis and the Rocks?
Don't do that.
Do you know?
I don't know.
We'll show y'all. That is one of the best bands Russell's ever showed me.
I'm plugging it right now. Butch Willis and the Rocks, their debut album of. That's what it's called.
Of?
Yeah, OF.
He's so great. Oh my God. One of the best public access shows I've ever seen. And like, yeah.
Yeah. We shouldn't go down that rabbit hole.
You said the Wrens, like the bird? Like WRENS?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In particular, their album, The Meadowlands.
Okay.
Their other albums are good, but that one is a huge influence. It's amazing. They were an indie rock band in the 90s, and then their indie label that they were on got bought by a major label, and that major label was like, we like you guys good enough, you stay on, we'll give you $1 million contract. Now here's the thing, you guys probably know how contracts like that work. It's basically like $1 million loan.
It's an advance, yeah.
Yeah, and they have to make the money back. And they essentially knew that they probably, with their sound, could not make that money back, or that the label would be super controlling. So they turned it down. I think it's one of the ballsiest moves in indie rock. And their label became the flagship label for Evanescence and Creed. So you just got to think of how they might have made the Wrens sound.
They could have been so cool.
But a few years later, they released their so far last album, The Meadowlands, and it's incredible. But they did it themselves on a small label. Only one run of physical release, so I cannot obtain that record. If you guys want to Nardward me, that's what you would give me is that record. But
actually.
Well, here, why don't you
if you look under your seat.
No,
that's for later. The Nardwar gift is for later.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I ruined it.
Well, anyway, this is like I got to spend like $300 to get it. It's outrageous. So I'll probably never own it.
So I think to circle back around, what keeps us to have that DIY aesthetic, the stuff we really like always had it. And I always kind of understand that's one of those things when you do things more and you're on budget, you have more control and you can make it sound the closest it can to whatever you hear in your head. And so I think like exactly. Like it's very, it's so much more fun to go.
We want to be cool more than we want to be rich.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Because then people will think you're cool.
Yeah,
that's what it's all about at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll hit after lunch some days and be like, I would absolutely write a song for like a Vans ad right now. Like, oh my God. I would do anything to do what I do.
There's a part of me that's definitely like, well, at this point, I think I would just appreciate a music job more. And if I could, like, Dialup Ghosts is one thing where we do whatever we want, but I have I'm writing jingles on the side, you know. I would do that.
Yeah.
It'd be okay.
You still get to do music.
Yeah.
You're just writing jingles for, like, Pond's Cold Cream and...
That's my career trajectory.
Like canned ham.
Canned ham.
The only canned ham.
That would be cool.
Oh my God, I would absolutely write a song for canned ham. Hormel, hit us up.
A spam jingle?
I thought you said a spam jam, and I was like,
spam jam. There you go.
See, they just write themselves.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you look into it and it's like, fuck, Ween did this like 5 years ago.
This is the spam jam.
Yeah.
Get you some canned ham.
That was in the second SpongeBob movie? No? I thought that...
A second.
So my apologies. I thought that would have been absurd enough to work, and it didn't. And that's fine, because failing is fun, bombing's cool. Yeah.
I don't know.
All great comedians.
Love to eat shit? Yeah. I did stand up for a bit. It felt that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's our DIY ethos, and why we just want to be cool. That's why.
We want to be cool, and it takes a lot to not be DIY, but also it's still fun.
Yeah. No, I think we kind of agree with that. I think it is cooler to be DIY.
Oh, absolutely.
We are. I mean, with each album we've made, I think we get the results that we want. You know, we've never been dissatisfied. Sometimes when you make, I was actually with the new album, the very next day after we recorded it, I was dissatisfied. I was like, oh my God, we spent all that time and I'm so tired and this sounds terrible. And then like 12 hours later, I was like, why did I think that? This is pretty great. I have no idea what's wrong with me.
I had one day
it's just my biggest critic.
I flipped out in the car day 2, I think.
You flipped out in the car?
Yeah, kind of.
On day 2 of recording?
Yeah.
In what way?
I just was like listening to like some song and it just kind of like hit me of like, oh, like everything. Like you don't get to really like, I don't know.
There's certain stuff like
I don't know if it's like related to the music we were doing. I flipped out in my car day 2.
I didn't flip out ever. But there's, like there's certain things. Small Deck, for example, on the new album. Jordan plays all the lead guitar on that. And the first guitar solo, I was like, we want to do like a Neil Young Crazy Horse type thing. We had just seen Neil Young in concert about a week or so beforehand. It wasn't too long before that month.
No, it was very recent. It was a blessing.
And like we were just like really living it, and we're like, yeah, let's do that. And for some reason, Jordan's solo was like not what I envisioned in my head, and I was like maybe disappointed was the word, but it was kind of like, I know Jordan can do better. And then, because you can't, the gun thing solo, we're just talking about it. And then, like, it wasn't much, a little bit of time had passed and you revisit it, and I'm like, this is awesome. What the heck was I thinking?
I couldn't recreate what I did on that if I tried.
Well, in the end, the second solo at the end of the song, that's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
I think maybe, I don't know, I wanted something busier for the first solo, but then I was like, no, like you explode at the end, so
No,
you got to
nice.
keep your pace. No,
that was a really great one. Gear Talk. That was coming out of my deluxe issue, my deluxe reverb reissue. I have the 64. I think the original one because I like how much more it can. I like having the normal channel just be like there and just be fucking normal, and I like a more like flat response kind of amp in that regard. The Silverface is always really cool, but I know it kind of leans a little bit more like garage rocky or that edge of breakup sound. But it was that, and then a fuzz pedal that I discovered this year that I really fucking liked. And I know it's I think it's like Ty Segal's like only one. It's the Death by Audio Fuzz War.
The Fuzz War, yeah.
Oh my god. My wife got me for that for my birthday this year, and I was like getting to play around with it. And I'm like, oh, this thing is a nasty like because it's a big muff, like I want to say a ram's head with a boost in it with a huge volume boost.
You've got a big muff, don't you?
I've got like a bass big muff thing. It's like
those are great. I used one till I broke the knobs off of it. Yeah, like it was a really
But those Fuzz Wars are insane.
They are
I
really.
follow them on Instagram, and they'll do demos where they'll have their like they'll have the Planning for Burial dude on there.
Yeah,
and they'll just have this like cut off like I can't remember if it's a jazz.
No, it's a Jaguar because that's his whole deal. Yeah,
and he'll just like start hammering that shit. It's so cool.
Oh man, yeah, no, he's great. I've had a bunch of their gear over the years, and sometimes it's almost like too much, and it's not Death by Audio. It's me not knowing how to tame that shit. But the Fuzz War was such a big, cool sound for that, for like the harmonics and the overtones, and just being able to have that like, I don't know. I have no idea how I did it. I can't recreate it at the end of it, where it's just that like, it's that big like crescendo, like, and then it just done. I assume that was a recording trick where they just killed it in the mix. But like, God, I would love to figure out how to do that.
No, I thought we told you to let it ring out and then press your hand to the strings to stop it from ringing.
Oh crap! So that was real then.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
Because it was like ringing further, and we were like, no, like smack it or mute the strings so it stops. I think I don't remember.
It was fun.
We recorded the whole album in 3 days nonstop. Like,
yeah, we did 10-hour days.
Something like that. 10, 12. We went to, and there's 2 outtakes you haven't even heard.
Unreleased.
We recorded
that's exciting.
14 songs in 3 days. It was grueling. I'll say it's very fun to record an album like that, but it's also, it could be more fun if you could have a few more days to record and take your time a little
less
bit.
Stress.
Yeah.
Because I think with like when we did Sunshine Gets Hotter, that was one that we broke up over multiple months, and it did feel a little bit more disjointed. I know with this one we got to play, and
I don't think it felt disjointed.
It felt a little. I think there was some breakups there. I think in that regard at the time, but it's whatever. Yeah, it's cool.
It sounds.
This is a lot more unified. Our fourth one because we got to like play it live a lot and kind of write the songs before we went into the studio. We wrote those songs, like we had them pretty hammered out before going in there.
We always do that.
What's the next question you got, Two Boys?
We wanted to like kind of ask you a couple more questions about like the new record specifically.
Yeah. Yes, please.
And I had a couple questions about. Well, first off, like just kind of you got the album cover, you got the cowboys. Why were y'all so drawn to cowboy imagery for this thing?
Oh, that was all you because
So I mean, on the album cover is Rocky and Gunner, the titular characters of the song.
Choke up on it. Don't grab it by the XL. What are you doing? That's their equipment.
Bad form.
I've never held a mic like this.
I never have either, but
you see the first fucking episode where you had the fucking like golf ball thing on it,
yeah.
And you're just holding it over your face, and you look at the like I think the screenshot on YouTube, it's just your face completely covered by this big ass foam ball.
It made it sound nice, but like it wasn't worth it.
All right, so you're asking about the imagery. So Rocky and Gunner was one of the first songs I wrote for the album, and it just. I kind of, Poncho and Lefty.
Yeah.
Towns Van Zandt. And, Smith and Jones Forever by Silver Jews.
Oh, I love
Silver Jews. I was like, I want to make a song that's in that world, a country song about 2 dudes.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, I don't know, experimenting with lyrics and stuff. I wanted it to be kind of whimsical and abstract in that regard. And after I wrote the demo, I was like, I kind of like this song. So you can see it's underneath the disc. When you remove it, there's two cowboys. It's Rocky and Gunner. That was, I like making linoleum cut stamps. So I made that just by carving into a stamp. Cool. And I was like, I like this art. And for a long time, I thought just that would be the album cover. Mm-hmm. So there was that. That was an element to it. And I wanted the whole album to be an acoustic album. But the band would not allow. Like, that's just the truth. And I ended up embracing that. And I think it was better for that reason. But honestly, so I had the stamp imagery of Rocky and Gunner, and I had that song, and a lot of the songs I had written sounded more on the countryside than perhaps earlier albums. And they're Drill, Drill from Twitter?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
He tweeted.
That hero.
The greats.
He tweeted, it's like, I forget the thing, but he's like, a good thing a cowboy says to another cowboy is, "May you live forever in cowboy heaven."
It's a Drill tweet?
Yeah.
That was the original. Because it's beautiful. That beautiful poetry that is in his writing a lot.
He's a beautiful writer.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I was like, I'm writing that down. I wrote, "May you live forever in cowboy heaven," and that's like verbatim. He didn't say like, "You may live forever," or it's word for word. That's what he says. And Jordan's the one who showed me Drill tweets for the first time when we first started the band, and I was like, "Hey, this is going to be the name of our next album," and that was like a year and a half before we recorded it. Or a year before, something like that. It was a long time before. It was at least the summer before we recorded.
Yeah.
And I was like, so we're gonna work toward that. We got this imagery here. That's the title. We got this song. Yeah, that's why. Also, there is this sense of like Nashville is, especially in East Nashville, and I work downtown on Broadway. Mm-hmm. There's so many. I don't work on Broadway, but I mean, I see it downtown, mm-hmm. and so there's so many people in cowboy hats, mm-hmm. and I started wearing a cowboy hat when we played live, but I started doing it because of Michael Gira. Yeah, he does it, and Deer Hunter. I mentioned one of my favorite bands. They have worn cowboy hats before. But they're like noise rock bands. So like I started doing it just like kind of as a nod toward them and the fact that we kind of make country music and live in Nashville. So it's kind of like Cowboy Heaven is in some manner like it's like a Nashville reference. Mm-hmm. This album was the most Nashville album. We got several references to actual locations. I don't know if you're aware, but in Hannah, I Love You. Never.
My favorite track.
I say at Never Never. That's a bar in Nashville.
Okay, yeah.
And inside of Three Crow, that was a very popular bar in Nashville, but it closed down because of COVID.
It's now one of the weed food bars.
What is a weed food bar?
Oh, you haven't seen like Buds and Brews? It's like a very like
I see the billboards all the time.
Okay, so you've seen the billboards. It's a weirdo local franchise that ran with the Farm Bill, and the whole idea is that like all the food is like THC infused, and like now they're starting to be like
stupid.
It's starting to be like
a terrible environment.
Well, just like I've had edibles. I don't like. I'm not there for that. Like I don't want to go in there and get like a porterhouse that has like
none of that. That stuff doesn't
like a weed puree on top.
None of that stuff's gonna work in a red state where weed is illegal. Like they're just.
That's not how I want to consume weed either.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a bar, bar setting.
You tell me at the Mapco I can't buy the THCA like Alabama Thunder pre-roll and like they'll lose my mind watching watching YouTube for a bit.
You can buy some spice.
Did you ever smoke spice?
Yeah.
I smoked spice.
I actually never had people have had bad times. I saw a video today on Reddit of dude losing his mind. That never happened to me.
I think the first time I smoked spice, I was like 19, and it was in like my parents' house, and I think we were watching Brad Neely's Wizard People Dear Reader, his like parody. He's like, "Do you know what I'm talking about? Either one of you know what I'm talking about?" Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Brad Neely did like China, Illinois, like baby cakes
Jordan
and stuff like that.
Is 45.
Oh, god damn it. No, it was an Adult Swim show. It was very popular. No, never mind. I'll end this story. No one here knows what the fuck I'm talking about. Because it's the worst. It's like, oh, you don't know this point of reference. Like, I think the other side of that conversation is like, please don't explain the other point of reference. I don't want to hear it. Well, this one person did this. I'm going to tell you their joke worse. Like,
I kind of love it. I like sitting through the awkwardness of it.
Oh,
because it just has to keep spiraling. It's so fun.
Oh, man.
And, like, it doesn't, like, the other person who doesn't understand the reference never gets it anymore, but it just keeps spiraling because you keep trying to explain it. I think it's kind of beautiful.
I think there are moments I find out I'm less empathetic than I thought.
I think I just kind of have, like, I think it's more of a sicko thing.
Or you think it's a sicko as opposed to, like, oh, humanity, beautiful,
Yeah.
like,
It's
curiosity.
not an empathetic thing. It's staring in at a zoo and seeing what happens. Yeah.
Well, Three Crow was a great bar in East Nashville that was very popular. It's like everyone hung out there.
It was nice.
The normies and the cool kids, everyone hung out at Three Crow. But like I said, it ended. So to answer your question back to the what's with the cowboy imagery and what's cowboy heaven, I'm saying it was kind of like a nod to Nashville. Kind of wanted to embrace that for the first time in our writing. So yeah, we got 2 bars in that song, Never Never and Three Crow. In disc golfing, I talk about Seven Oaks. That's an actual disc golfing course here. A song that I was writing for the album that is not like a recorded in studio outtake. It was like a demo that never made it. Was Dickerson Pike. I don't know if you're aware of the road. I live near Dickerson Pike, and I was like, I'm gonna write about Dickerson Pike. We played with Home Is Where at Dark Matter, which is on Dickerson Pike. Cool. So like I was like trying to write about that like in a fun way. So anyway, I wanted to very much write about geography, these like local places. Yeah, and then with that also the ending track, Forever in Heaven, that's the only one I wrote for the album. Like all the other songs were written and we had an album title, and I was like, I want to write like a title track of sorts. So like that was more like an intentional assignment for me. Yeah, was to write that. And I had one little verse of it which I liked, but I wrote the second half of the song the day before we went to the studio.
I did not know that.
When I say the second half I completed. I wrote the first half that you hear in the song second, and I wrote it the day before. Yeah.
I think that was the most comfortable song I recorded my guitar track for. It was one that felt the most like I was recording it at home, because like I think everybody, especially if, like, I don't know, like if you play guitar and you like recording stuff and you like rock music, you probably make it something at home, and you probably have your little position you do that in. And I sit like crisscross on my floor with my pedals in front of me, and that's how I kind of just do stuff. And it was very nice to like, you go into a studio, you don't get to do that a lot. It's always like engineers kind of rules or like whatever they have set up in there, and you try to make it your best you can, but no, I don't really listen to my guitar through headphones like this all the time. It's very odd. So it was like really, yeah, it's the worst part about it. Is like you'll hear something all day and then you put these headphones on. And it's just like no. So like I think getting to sit there and write a lot of those guitar riffs, I think like in the moment, because I didn't have that going into that, and just like having a tinier amp, it really did help with that. I had a Fender Princeton Tone Master I picked up last year, and that was like, I turned that down to like a half a watt, and then I played out of a Jazz Master that I modded. That's cool. It's the Damascus model. So
yeah.
I put a really nice like American Professional neck on it, and then I put some Lawler soap bars in there, and so it's got that really wonderful like early like 60s early Jazz Master model tone. And so it was like that, and then it was just like try to like I think some of my favorite tones like ever in music come from those like first two Strokes records.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
it's great. That right like compressed like high mid boost guitar tone coming out of like single coils. I think outside of like I think one of them played like a hollow body, like Gibson or it was an Epiphone. I think Albert Hammond Jr. I think had that, but like no, that was basically what I was trying to hit with that was like what would be like a Strokes like background. Like,
you got some Strokesy guitar.
That and I want to say Deer Hunter's like Closer, that one that people were talking about at the Pitchfork Festival, where it was like this was the last time it felt good to be alive. I was eating a Parliament cigarette, watching him. In
nothing
Pitchfork.
ever happened.
That was it. That was the Closer. That song, I loved. That was a big influence in my head that day.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, that was good.
We still got it. That's perfect.
It's a fucking ghost.
So you mentioned when you were talking about the title "May You Live Forever" in Cowboy Heaven, you mentioned that like it was very specific that it's "May You Live Forever," not "You May Live," and I think that kind of sums up a lot of like what I felt with the record when I listened to it. That it's a really optimistic title. It's an invitation in a lot of ways, and that's kind of shows in the sequencing. And I don't know, what were y'all thinking when y'all were talking about heaven and that kind of concept? Because that's got a lot of, like, especially down in the South, that's got a lot of baggage to it. That's got a lot of stuff to it. What do y'all mean when you say that?
Well, that's a good question. I intentionally, after our first 3 albums were all downers, I was like, I have to take a break from anger and politics. So it was, the whole album was an intentional exercise on, I don't know, being more uplifting in a sense, or positive. And, you know, I between the last album and this album, I've gotten married and had a baby. And I mean, my wife and I, we are Christians. I make secular music. I'm a secular guy, but there is this sense of like, you know, I don't know how much I believe in like literal heaven, but I would like to think that there is a place for us all to go to escape this evil on earth. So. You know, I chose the title, like I said, from a drill tweet. I don't know. There's just something about it. It felt right with all the music and the songs we had. But then, like I said, the final track, Forever in Heaven, I wrote intentionally for the album. And I think that is maybe more what you mean, because that's where I'm like fully addressing heaven. And that song is... I mean, truly, it's for my son, my baby. It's like from my perspective to him. And in the beginning of this year, my grandpa died. So I start the song with that, and he was a Native American, but also a Christian. So it's very literal. Yeah. And you know, at his funeral, the preacher said something about how he was like, oh, I don't remember, but like, you know, don't miss me because you'll see me again or whatever. You know, they always say that type of thing. But my grandpa did say something like that. So that kind of shaped it. And then also this fact that the world, and maybe it always feels this way or it feels worse for parents, but like right now for me it looks very bleak. So I kind of have to believe in something better, because if I don't, it's like I'm just saying like, yeah, the future sucks, you know, there's nothing to live for, so sorry buddy, you know. So it was kind of an intentional exercise in, you could say, hope and faith of sorts, wanting there to be something better.
Yeah, it reminds me a lot of like the end of No Country for Old Men, which is like one of my favorite books and movies. And there's this kind of
same here.
Yeah, and like Cormac McCarthy, that's a weird thing right now. He sucks, but like
nah. We've talked about this.
We're like whatever. Two, that guy who wrote it sucked.
That article sucked.
It was so bad.
Dude, it was terrible.
Look, he was 90 years old right now, or when he died. You know, like people back then. You know,
do we really want to talk about the Cormac, our thoughts on the Cormac McCarthy situation?
I say we leave it. I don't think they want to hear that.
Look, I'm not worried. I'm just saying, Cormac McCarthy, one of my favorite authors.
My favorite author. Like, yeah.
Now, problematic fave.
Yeah, it's a problematic. Whatever.
Look, I like Cormac McCarthy. I like Daughters. I like Kanye West.
Coming out strongly.
You know.
Sorry, yeah, but anyway, so you got the end of No Country for Old Men, where you got like Sheriff Ed Tom Bell is having this like describing the dream to his wife, and I kind of always think about that when you have these kind of images of heaven and hope, because that hope kind of seems to come from nowhere in that stuff, and especially in a lot of Cormac McCarthy's work, the hope kind of just seems innate, and like you kind of just have to yearn for it, even though there isn't a really good justification for it in the work, because you have this really hellish world, but people just keep on hoping. And it's a really optimistic read of his books, but like I kind of always find that strain of hope in there, and I don't know, it just reminds me of that in some sort of way.
Well, I mean, I'm okay with that. You know, I have a English degree, and he was you know, one of my favorite authors, and so he's like an influence on me. When I was in college, I didn't do poetry very much. I did short story writing, so like you know, I was more into prose. Then I just kind of switched to doing songs because I just like music so much. So yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong. I think that there, you know, his influence is there.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask, like, let's just do one more about the record. But I want to ask about like the relationships in the record. There's so much stuff, especially in the first 7 or 8 tracks or so, about relationships, and there's a real cool shift about halfway through from like these really intimate relationships that you see, like you have like Hannah I Love You, and you have fake Dialup Ghost fan, Rhinestones. But Rhinestones in the first one, there's a lot of focus on like a very intimate, like romantic relationship, at least in the way I read it. And that kind of transitions into stuff like Small Deck and disc golfing that kind of like shows the kind of like real similarities between those romantic relationships and those like hanging out with friends and the kind of beauty of that. So like, I don't know, where did all that stuff come from for y'all?
Well, first of all, disc golfing was the first song I wrote out of all of these.
Cool.
Because I had it in my mind. Like I said, I wanted to take a break from all of the politics and anger. Because I was like, you know, if people need to know what our politics and our beliefs are and stuff, that music is not going away. It's still there.
It's not subtle.
It's still there.
It's still there. So why do I have to keep making that? I deserve to make something that's more pleasing to myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to make a disc golf concept album.
Cool.
And then I wrote that one song, and I was like, I am abandoning that idea. But then the other songs, I don't know. I was doing a few different. I was trying to level up of sorts, like because I was like, well, I'm writing different songs. With the political ones, I wanted to be unflinching. I kind of say things like very straightforward, but this time I wanted to be more poetic. So with that being said, I don't know if I should reveal all of my secrets, but Rhinestones is meaningless.
Cool.
No,
I love the opening lines in that one. They fit so like they're so fun to say together.
I was truly doing like stream of consciousness rhyming.
That's great.
And it just kind of, you know, I won't say that there wasn't like something subconsciously guiding me, because I like can interpret the song in a certain way. Like I'm saying, I didn't write it to be anything in particular, but I sort of interpret the song to be like some sort of ritualistic practice, and I kind of see it as being about, a woman getting an abortion and then not doing it by the end of the song. But that wasn't intentional. But I was, my wife was pregnant and we were having a baby. And so, I think was kind of all in the subconscious. And one practice that I do when I write songs is I try to embody a songwriter that I like. Like the Sun's Only Just Coming Up, that song. For me, I was like, I want to write an Arthur Russell song. And like, obviously, he hasn't written that song, and I can't say that I would write anything as good as he would write. But it's my song. I wrote it, but I'm saying like it's like a hat that I put on, my Arthur Russell hat. For Rhinestones, I had recently seen Bon Iver, and my wife really loves Bon Iver and Justin Vernon's lyrics. So I was like, his lyrics to me are all kind of BS. They don't mean anything to me. So I'm gonna write a song that doesn't mean anything to me, and that's what happened. The Shovel song, which that's one of my favorites from the album. I just think it's very fun to play live. I think it's very pleasing to listen to. But shovel is my favorite word in the English language.
It's a good one.
So I was like, I just want to write a song that uses this. And I don't know if you've like looked at the lyrics, on the page, but that was like an exercise for me to make each line like rhyme with the line above it, every single syllable. Like, and I mean slant rhymes too, and not like perfect rhymes. So then from there, it just went, I don't know, it just became something different than when I started, but I embraced it. But back to your point, you're asking like about the relationships and how did these songs come to be. I wanted to write more positive songs. The liner notes say dedicated to muses Hannah and Simon. That's my wife and my baby. So I wanted to write songs for them, and they inspired songs. I said Disc Golfing was the first song written for the album. That is true. But Hannah, I Love You is the oldest song. I wrote that for Sunshine Gets Hotter, and we have a studio outtake for that album that will.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
that would be interesting because we both picked that one as our favorite for the record.
It's so stripped back. It's so much.
It's not. I wouldn't say it's stripped back. It's slow though. It's slower.
It holds a lot of weight on the album.
And it's I play like. I wanted it to sound like doom metal. I open the song with a riff that's like very fuzzy. But I was like, I don't know if I didn't like that particular recording, so I cut it from the album. And then we re-recorded it as this 6-piece for the new album, and we made it faster, and it is what it is now.
Yeah.
But I think that was almost an outtake, though, again.
Okay.
And I think it's because I don't like my vocal performance that much. Like my vocal performance, and the lyrics I'm singing, it's like so naked and vulnerable.
Yeah.
I just decided to get over that, and I left it on, and it turns out everyone likes that one.
Also, too, like your vocal track on that is like a very I do like that. I do like your vocal melody on there a lot, but also like it just says so much about Sean and Katie's ear for harmonies too. It's a very it was so cool to see what they were able to add to that to counterpoint what you were doing. It's so lovely. I am so glad they're both.
Sean and Katie, they're on the far left of the image of the back cover. We asked to join the band for this album. We were, what you've seen us live, the four of us, we've been the band for many, many years. And Jordan is right that they add a lot with their vocals. I think what's one of the things that I like about us as a band is, especially with the addition of Sean and Katie, is I think all three of us have like perhaps unconventional voices, like, you know, or we're singing in our like true singing voices rather than like trying to be like poppy. You know, we're not singing like a choir. But anyway, yeah. So you're about the relationships and stuff. It was very intentional. A plastic bowl, for example. I mean, I wrote that literally in front of my baby. You know, that's another song where I'm talking to him. You know, my wife and I were on the couch, and he was in a little bouncer thing. And like, if you obviously, like I said, I'm revealing my secrets, but if you know that, then it's like you'll look at the lyrics and be like, oh wow, this song's quite literal. Yeah.
Just like, hey, this song's in the eyes of a freaking baby. I ain't a baby.
No, it's not from his perspective. It's from my perspective. It's from me to him.
No, I was trying to think about what a dumb guy would say trying to listen to the song. But I like your line about the ceiling fan is your biggest fan.
Oh,
that line.
Yeah. The ceiling fan is our biggest fan, and you're the biggest ceiling fan. Yeah.
No, it's great.
He loved to look at it. Babies love ceiling fans. Additionally, though, as far as the songwriting goes, did you have another question about that?
You wanted to ask about songwriting in particular, yeah.
Yep.
You wrote it down at one point, I think.
Please.
No, just keep going.
Well, I was going to say...
I think I did. I don't remember what I was going to ask.
Before, like, so we were rehearsing all of these songs as a band, like having practice before going into the studio, because we knew we wanted to record it like live as a band in as little time as possible. So you do that, like we have many practices beforehand, really honing it, making sure everyone knows everything. And 777 and Tailspin were written this year when we recorded the album earlier in May. We were actually going to record it in April, but we all had to reschedule. So I did not intend for those to be on the album at all, but I took Adrienne Linker, you know her?
Yeah.
This is what I was going to ask about. I'm remembering now.
I took her School of Songwriting class, and those were 2 homework assignments from her class. Cool. And I don't know, Tailspin in particular, like to me, that's like the best thing I ever wrote. And I have all of her like teachings, like the assignments and her lectures, like the recordings, and I plan for like a next album to just keep doing her assignments over and over again, and then have only an album of those. But yeah, so those songs were, especially Tailspin, like that's not about the relationships of anyone. That's like a completely like fictional storytelling thing. But yeah, sorry, that's
no, you're good.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about, because I remember, forget what interview it was, or it was maybe a journal article you talked about the Adrienne Linker class in Tailspin. So I was interested to hear about
one of my Instagram posts, perhaps.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. She has no idea I exist, which is fine, but I feel kindred to her. We are both, I don't believe in astrology, but we are both Cancers, born in 1991. So, and
you're being really hard on yourself.
And
No,
that was a good bit.
That was good.
No, we were both born in July 1991 in Indiana. So, yeah. I mean, I'm saying I feel something there, and I love her music, and she's great. I think she's one of the best songwriters.
Yeah. All right. Do we want to do the trivia game?
Yeah,
I think it's time.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure that the thing's still rolling.
Trivia.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna bring at us. So
here we go.
Okay.
So this is our trivia game.
You're our host.
I'm Alex Trebek, and this is the Dialup Ghost game. We're gonna be playing 5 trivia questions real quick for a mystery prize at the end. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
I think
All
so.
right.
Yeah.
Number 1. I'm going disc golfing. Disc golfing was a sport invented in the mid-'60s across college campuses and became widely popular thanks to the first World Frisbee Championships and the adoption of the, quote, disc pole hole designed by Ed Hedrick in 1976. Who won the first World Frisbee Championships? You get multiple choice.
Okay.
All right. So we have A, John Frizzwiz Kirkland, B, Kurt Perfect Putt Parkers, and C, Betsy the Tomahawk Trammell.
I choose C.
I'm gonna choose B because there's nobody with the name
they-
Frizzwiz.
Were they? Was this a co-ed event?
With the disc golf league's attitudes, absolutely the fuck not.
Right. So you're saying it's definitely not Betsy.
I don't think so.
That was my first guess, but I'll go with you then. B.
You were both wrong. It was John the Frizz Whiz Kirkland.
Fuck off! Oh my god! Okay.
I put in Betsy because I thought it'd be fun to have a woman disc golfer in there, but I don't think it was co-ed.
No, and for God, I'll keep bringing up these it was one of the Nashville, I think, tournament stops for the Pro Disc Golf League. They actually threw out a trans competitor.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So
yeah, because they would have such a massive advantage in.
No,
disc
it was one of the first ones alongside pool. Billiards and darts.
God.
They were none.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
We can't let our
the biological advantage from the games you play while fucked up.
So fucking stupid. That's so bad. All right. So you guys are 0 for 1 here, but you got a chance to bring it back. Number 2, Pavlov's puppy dog had parvo, but it can also infect wolves, foxes, and other members of the Canidae family. What other animals can suffer from the disease known as canine paravirus? A, wolverines. B, badgers. C, skunks.
These are hard questions.
I did not make them easy.
I'm going to say wolverines.
This seems to be the most dog-like, right?
I mean, I'm trying to think a skunk is more like a fox.
Well, but he
just
said
all
fox.
canines.
Do you want me to look up the Canidae family for you?
All 3 skunks, badgers, and
I actually have no idea.
wolverines are canines?
I have no idea, honestly. Canidae is a biological family of dog-like carnivores, colloquially referred to as dogs. Okay, thanks.
Did a dog write this?
Yeah. Fucking dog wrote this.
I don't think
Wolves, coyotes, foxes, jackals. I don't think any of the options are in the dog family. So I don't know why I wrote that, actually.
I don't think skunks are carnivores.
No.
You want to look that up real quick?
But I'd say a wolverine definitely is.
Wolverines are definitely
Yeah. I'd say wolverine.
Badger, I don't know what they eat.
I remember the meme. It was also...
They eat memes?
They eat memes.
I'm going to go with wolverine.
Wolverine.
The answer is skunk. I also just got this off Wikipedia, so that could be wrong.
Yeah. Be fraudulent.
All right, the next one's a little funny because I did not know your son's name was Simon. I just pulled the name off the record. But Mama and Simon were a couple of diamonds. But who is this Simon fella anyways? Simon is ranked as the 819th most popular given name in the United States with an estimated population of 48,987. And in the 1st century AD, Simon was the most popular male name for Jews in Roman Judea. From Simon the shoemaker to Simon Bolivar, Simons are pretty cool, don't you think? According to BehindTheName.com, what is the 247th most popular, quote, boy name directly ahead of Simon? A, Dallas, B, Gavin, or C, Cohen? Cohaen.
I only know one Cohen, and that's because of just following somebody on Twitter. I don't know a Cohen in real life. I knew a Dallas.
Hold on, it was Dallas, Cohen, and what was the middle one?
Gavin was the B.
I'm going to go B. I'm going to go Gavin.
I don't think it's Dallas. I think there's got to be I feel like Dallas is one of those that's the 10th most popular name for baby boys right now. Dallas and Braxton and
how many Braxtons do you know?
well, I don't know.
You know Braxton?
We lived with the Braxton.
We lived with the Braxton.
Year.
Oh damn!
In the flesh.
Yeah.
That's always the worst when you do those jokes. Well, hey, names are crazy now, and then you make fun of the name, and it's my child is named Aiden.
His name's not actually Braxton.
What's his name? It's what?
Yeah,
Really?
know
Okay.
that?
No, I did not know that. That's crazy.
That's his middle name.
Yeah.
Doesn't count.
And it's not like I lived with him with
I knew someone with the middle name Braxton,
See?
but his first name was Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew Braxton.
So we had
It's
a.
kind of
Like
Andrew's
Jackson.
good.
He had a record.
Andrew,
Yeah.
Andrew Braxton.
Andrew Jackson's cooler cousin.
Andrew Braxton.
You're going with Gavin?
I'm going with Gavin.
I'm going with Cohen. We can both be wrong or one of us right.
Okay.
The answer is Cohen. C. So that's
Wow.
1 point on the board.
It's because he said Jewish names or something. I was like, well, Cohen. That's way more Jewish than Dallas.
That's
You know.
all right.
Oh,
no-
here we go.
He said it was one above Simon. You know.
This is the best question.
Okay.
Number 4. Marcia Blackburn is an evil motherfucker who should be in jail at the very least. She's also the author of The Mind of a Conservative Woman, Seeking the Best for Family and Country, critically acclaimed by such intelligent folks as Nikki Haley and Dave Ramsey's dumbass. Now, what is the title of Chapter 8 in this wonderful book? A. A Hero for Us All. B. Laws and Sausages. C. Marcia Blackburn is a drug dealer.
B. Laws and Sausages.
Did you read the book?
Yeah, I've got it on my shelf.
Oh damn.
Really?
No.
I'm gonna say A on that front.
It's definitely B.
It's B.
Oh my god.
That was, you pulled up from 30 feet there and drilled it.
Look,
I thought you actually had it on your shelf.
I know what kind of woman she is. Like she's a Paula Dean, the Paula Deanatician.
Oh, that's good.
Paula Dean,
That's good.
politician. Yeah, that's what I'm trying
Pauly
to-
Dean spelled like P-O-L. Yeah.
Yeah.
She'd probably put that on a shirt or something. She'd
Yeah.
fucking love that shit.
So I just knew, like, she's
Paula Dean sucks too.
Yeah, at least she's not, senator.
Yeah.
Yet.
She's not the governor.
She's normally right.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's 2. You're almost over 50% there.
All right.
We're
I
getting-
got Cohen and sausages.
All right.
I've had none. I have no real grip on the world.
As a group, though, as a group effort. As
Yeah,
Dial-Up Ghost
as a
whole.
dialogue. Yeah, it's a dialogue
Yeah.
ghost effort.
Oh, I forgot to do the whole bit.
What was the
I
bit?
can't. Well, I can't do the bit now.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can't. Of course, you can't do the bit
Can't do
now.
the bit now.
Yeah, that'd be gross. All right, number 5. And finally, you've heard it said that beer don't holler and whiskey don't scream, but truly I tell you that beer is an alcoholic beverage produced by the brewing and fermentation of starches from cereal grain, most commonly malted barley. What is the earliest archaeological evidence of fermentation along the lines of beer, according to Wikipedia? A. The semi-nomadic Natafians, 13,000 years ago. B. The city of Uruk, over 5,000 years ago. Or C. Canada, 1936.
It is not C.
I'm going to say A because you really can't underestimate the amount that humans will work to lay down a home to get fucked up.
I mean, I kind of want to say A too.
You can say the same answer.
Well, I know we.
But it's the whole thing because the thing that makes me want to say B is the fact that I know that I think to produce barley and wheat you can't be semi-nomadic? Was that what it was in that?
It was
Or that's the whole
semi-nomadic, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they sort of had homes, they didn't. So if they were doing any kind of agriculture,
They weren't fully committed to the nomad lifestyle.
I mean-
but it's good lord, we've always been doing it.
Did it? I mean,
We've
did
had it
this
unlocked
question
for a while.
say that it was specifically wheat and barley fermented, or that
No.
just alcohol in
It's
general?
just beer. And
Earliest archaeological evidence of fermentation along the lines of beer.
Okay, those guys could have crammed fruit in a leather sack and let it.
And forgot about it.
Yeah,
Some
like
slop.
Yeah.
Love to see the dipshit who wandered over to the spoiled juice, squishy fruit, and was like, "Hey, I should drink that."
ah man,
A hero.
yeah, I know.
We had a rumor.
15,000 years ago,
13,000.
13,000 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with B.
All right, so we're covering the spread. I went with yeah.
The answer is A, the semi-nomadic
Yeah, I was about to
of
say.
13,000 years
We
ago.
were talking about this earlier.
Yes, because there's a very fun quote in here that says, the earliest archaeological evidence of fermentation consists of 13,000-year-old residues of beer with the consistency of gruel. So
They were just making slop.
Yeah.
they were literally making
Making
alcohol
slop.
slop. This probably looked like oatmeal, and they were just getting shit-faced off of it.
Life
Cool.
finds a way to get fucked up.
Finds a way.
I kind of wish that I had alcoholic oatmeal.
Really?
I want to try it.
I know what we're making you now for the holidays.
You ferment some oatmeal?
I think we can.
You can ferment
Please.
any-
I was gonna Do you all remember like any like crazy rumors in your high school time about like drugs people were doing? The only reason I bring that up is because this story made me bring up this.
The pooping and peeing in bottles.
Well, this is.
Put a balloon on top.
You talking about Jenkum?
Jenkum, yeah.
Yes.
Wait, they were huffing poop?
You've never done Jenkum?
Listen, I was very lame.
There was one guy I went to school with who was really, really into the Mars Volta and numerology, and like a rumor started about him, like about doing Jenkum. And the thing is, like, it's one of those things like you want to believe it because you know that guy, and then I'm like, there's no way. And other people were like, stop making this rumor up about this person. I just remember going into like homeroom one day and like seeing him like just write a bunch of numbers on a fucking trapper keeper, and I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, I think if I write these in the right sequence, something's gonna happen. So
That's so cool.
Yeah, like he was doing that. He was going after I think the same vibes.
We recorded our first album on Jenkum.
On Jenkum?
Yeah, the whole time.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Can someone explain to me what Jenkum is? I grew up way too Baptist for this.
No, you're good.
Like a 2-liter bottle.
Yeah.
Okay.
You put poop and pee in it.
Yeah.
Then you
Straight into the bottle
You get
or
the
like a
gas-
funnel?
gas-
Then you put
Yeah.
a balloon on top.
Okay.
Put that bad boy in a closet and wait until that balloon fills up with gas. Then you inhale that balloon.
This is something like It's Always Sunny in
I'm
Philadelphia.
gonna start gagging if I.
I want to say it's
I've never
it's
done
like
this.
like a prison drug or something that is like made. I think I remember once like the Somali pirates were like doing it. Like it was like they were just doing that and robbing yachts, which is pretty badass
That's
to be
kinda
honest.
cool.
Yeah.
That's good vibes, right?
No, it really is.
I am the Jenkum now.
All right, do we do the Nardwar?
Jenkum Phillips.
Jankum Phillips.
That's true. You get to do it.
Yeah, so because you have won the Dial-Up Ghost game, going 3 for 5, we've gotten you a present, which is one of your favorite records, Silk Degrees by Boz Scaggs.
Oh man, this has Lido Shuffle. This has
Yes.
Lowdown.
Yes, it does.
I want to say Christopher Cross played on this.
Maybe.
Do you have a copy?
I do not have a
I
copy.
have a copy. So it's all you.
Oh yeah, thank y'all so much. This rules.
enjoy.
Thank you
This
very
is what
much.
it's all about. It was between
Wow.
giving you this or What's New Pussycat by Tom Jones. So we thought we'd give you the
Oh,
actual
man.
good record.
Yeah, the thing is, like, Tom Jones isn't like. It's always one of those things. Like, I always think he's like lame, and then I like listen to an interview with him, and I'm like,
Fucked.
yeah.
That man
Oh my
fucked.
god, the
Yeah.
amount hearing him like I forget how Welsh he is, or like
Yeah.
you're like Scottish.
That was the sexiest you were allowed to be in the
Yeah, it blew my
Yeah.
mind when I found out he was European.
Who's in Mars Attacks? Boz Scaggs or Tom Jones?
That's Wayne Newton.
Tom Jones is totally in Mars Attacks.
Is Tom Jones in Mars Attacks? Is he really?
I thought that was Wayne Newton because of his association with Las Vegas, but it could also be Vegas Vacation, the last of the Lampoon's Vegas Vacation
I'm
movies.
pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen Mars Attacks in a long time.
I didn't like it. It made me upset as a child because James Bond died.
James Bond died.
Pierce Brosnan got his
Oh.
head put on a fucking dog.
I think
What?
I think he.
Oh, you
lives.
hate to see that.
It was such a bummer.
Yeah, you hate
Yeah.
to see that. He's
Jack
like-
Black dies.
Yeah, Jack Black's the first human to die in
I can
it.
hear
All the good ones go quick.
Have you seen Mars Attacks?
I actually have not. They showed it at the Belcourt a while ago, and I almost went.
Oh
It-
wow! I wish I would.
I hated it as a kid, and I've come around on Tim Burton stuff, and I think I probably need to reappraise it, but I also just like, nah. Like,
Probably the best Tim Burton movie for me.
Hmm.
It's the most different though of his
Ed Wood, Big Fish, like,
Big Fish, Big Stinker. Ed Wood
ooh,
makes
oh brother,
is dead wood. I've never seen.
that's
Ed Wood.
literally violence.
I actually don't even know Ed Wood.
Okay, yeah, this is what I'm talking about.
I like Edward Scissorhands. Beetlejuice is okay.
It was Vincent Price's last movie.
Ed Wood.
Edward
That's
Scissorhands.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Leaving
in
on a bed.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
yeah, Vincent Price. He plays his dad. He plays the old man and puts them together.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen it.
Oh,
Yeah.
But I think we're all in agreement. Tom Jones is cool. though.
Tom Jones is cool.
Sure, I mean-
Tom Jones fucks. Tom Jones is
fucks.
cool.
He did the song. She's a Lady is in the end of Bound.
Yeah, beautiful movie.
Beautiful movie.
Beautiful 4K cut this year. Thank you, Criteria.
Thank you, Chrissy. That movie. But yeah,
That movie's so good.
yeah.
I
But I
haven't
think
seen
Oh, it's good.
it's great. It's like
Early Wachowskis.
yeah, it's like a Coen Brothers flick, but
Yeah.
kind of
Coen Brothers revenge flick via like lesbian like love. Yeah.
Dude, have you read the Roger Ebert review for it?
No, I have
It's
not.
So funny.
I saw that book on your table. Yeah, I
he-
love them.
He has this. He's like talking about. He's like, why are lesbians the only plumbers now? They're taking all the working class. Yeah, it's so fucking funny. He's great.
No, he's wonderful. I remember his like. I don't know why he has quotes at like Steak and Shake. Have you ever noticed that when you're?
Does he really?
If you're in the drive-thru at Steak and Shake, it's like Roger Ebert quotes about how like.
I've got beef with
like,
Steak and Shake.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that. It was very funny to see him be like, this is where like a truck driver and a lawyer can meet. Like,
no, I used to go to Steak and Shake for my birthday every year, and they give me a free brownie, and then they close the one close to me down. The closest one to me is like 2 hours away.
We gotta go burn that shit down.
Well, it's a Wendy's now.
Oh,
they fucking ruined it.
Yeah, I was saying we don't have. I was talking that the other day with our drummer friend Jack in the band. We do not have a Steak and Shake in city limits.
I've never seen one here. I used to go to Steak and Shake all the time.
I think we have a Waffle House in city limits. Closest Waffle House is like 4 miles away, and they don't stay open past like 9. They do takeout now.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to see. There's one in Murfreesboro Pike that's only delivery, which is nutso.
I just want to say that I googled and Tom Jones is definitely in Mars Attacks.
So you heard that?
Plays himself.
So
that's really cool.
Of course.
Yeah. So I was.
Who else would he
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Couldn't play. I know the only other Tom Jones fact I know is that he made himself pass out when he was recording whichever Bond theme he did because he sang for too long.
That's so cool. There's more stuff that just makes him awesome. Yeah.
It's not unusual to be James Bond.
Yeah.
I think that's an interview.
Yeah, I think my phone might explode.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No, thank you, Tudo Boys. This was wonderful.
This was fun. Thank you very
In
much.
conversation with Dialup Ghosts. Check out their new album out now. May You Live Forever in Cowboy Heaven.
In Cowboy Heaven. Check that out. You guys got anything to plug? Anything?
Yeah, any shows coming up?
Well, we got a show tomorrow, but this one,
and
that's going to be our last show for a while. We're going to take a break, so.
Well, for the rest of the year, at least until you get some. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. No, I think besides that, like, we have a
listen to the new album. That's what we're plugging.
New album, super cool.
Our friends, bands, Father Sunn, Riley Parker, DeeOhGee, Conflict Diamonds, Spirit Furnace.
We have a lot of collaborators.
Heavy Quitters.
Heavy Quitters.
And Jack's Nothing Masters project.
Does he still call himself that?
Well, he doesn't have another project.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen to those.
We'll list them all on screen.
We'll
We'll put them in the description.
Yeah.
A+ stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Thank y'all.